Hello, and welcome back. We're in stream number 2 this weekend. Welcome, Sneak Cat and Aleph. Sorry, just had to fix something. Yeah, I'm excited to try and understand this as well because I'm so fucking confused right now. I finished meat today, and I'm like, what? Okay, so since I finished meat today, we're open season on meat spoilers. We're going to be talking about the context of meat We're going to be talking about meat in the context of the whole picture. However, I have not started candy yet, so no candy spoilers, please, for the love of fucking God. However, yes, gonna try and puzzle some shit out today. And yes, indeed, poor Jake, the shameless bimboification of Jake English. Oh, yeah, there's a lot to talk about there. There's a lot to talk about a lot of things. I don't even know where to start. Sorry, 1 second, I gotta get my sweater off. Vriska goes feral. Vriska happens. And so does Terezi. Oh my god. Y'all. And there's the Roxy and Dave and Carcat and Rose and Dirk. Oh, what? And then what the fuck was the postscript? I thought that I had, like, okay, maybe some semblance of grasp on, like, okay, I think I know, rough strokes, what kind of was going on there, like, vaguely enough to understand the flow of the plot and how it happened. And then the postscript happened. And all of a sudden, Aradia was there, and Dave was there, but he was a robot, and Jade was there, but kind of sort of possessed by Callie, but because of the eye thing, but then not, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I know, I love them all too, and oh no, Jane, there's just, oh wow. You have some idea, but you also don't. Yeah, I don't fucking know. I just know that I love Aradia so fucking much. So fucking much. And to some extent, wherever she is, whatever the fuck that was, she's still alive. You don't know what's going on with Callie? Yeah, I don't know what was... Right! Oh my god! I forgot about that! The fucking drawings! What the hell? What does that even mean? What is happening? Reading the entire epilogue is, Jane, don't do this. I know! The whole thing was like, Jane, no! I mean, like, okay, so the thing with the stuff with Jane is that, like, technically speaking, that kind of headcanon and kind of, or, like, idea of her leanings was kind of already pretty well established in fandom, I think. I've heard it spoken of a number of times that, like, poor dear sweet Jane, who could not even fathom the idea of Jake liking boys and grew up in perfectly sweet little isolated suburbia, would probably be a conservative, at the very least. The whole fascist dictatorship thing is very new. Either Callie. Yeah. No, like, how did she do the... Because, like, here's the thing with Callie. The whole part where she took over Jade and then was talking about, like, watching over Earth, it reminded me of how, like, adult Shurubs, there's that whole thing where they, like, preside over a universe, right? So in this case, it's a dead Shurub presiding over a planet, but does that mean that Jade also needs to stay in this trance the whole time in order for her to be that guardian over the planet to protect them from Dirk, who is apparently just trying to be God? Like, technically speaking, they're all gods, but he's trying to be, like, big man capital G God. Like, that's what I got from that. That's it, right? I mean, yeah, reading it was interesting, but also I screaming at my computer so much. Oh my god, the whole scene with her and Jake in the office. Holy fuck. Yeah, Dirk, be God. Like, what the fuck? Like, he was trying to be God in like the I guess like the I don't know if the Judeo-Christian sense is the correct way to word it. I mean, from my Catholic upbringing and knowing some shit about the Bible, it makes me think of like Bible God, but like kind of more sinister, maybe. I don't know. Sounds like exactly what your friend would do. Yeah, there's so much to process. Oh my god, I finished reading it and I went downstairs and basically just started like yelling at my parents. Not literally yelling at them, but I was just like motor mouth, and my dad was like did not understand. He was trying because I've talked to him about Homestuck before, but he just like he was just like listening and nodding, and I was like, thank you for listening and nodding. But like, okay, I never in my life, I never want to read orange text ever again for the rest of my life. I'm so fucking sick of it. So fucking sick of orange text. Yeah, holy shit. Okay, anyway, so we're starting at chapter sorry, let me just move some shit around. I'm trying to get it set up so that I can see chat in another window that's like still on my computer screen, because my phone keeps fucking overheating when I open chat. But yeah, it was the black text of the post the post text, and I was like, whoa. But yeah, who is that? In the beginning, like even before the orange text, I'm fairly certain that was all still supposedly Dirk. But yeah, who wrote the post text then? Well, the black text talking to Caliborn was Hussey, who in this circumstance is dead. And I'm pretty sure his ghost is supposed to be dead too, because of the whole thing with the black hole sucking up basically fucking everything except for like John. And y'all, when we get to those scenes with John in the breach, and with Terzi and the two of them at the breach, I have words. Like, and it has nothing to do with any of their relationship stuff. John Resi is something that I was very skeptical of at first, but then it really grew on me when I saw it as like a background thing in some fics, and I was like, oh, that's really growing on me. So I'm really glad those fics primed me for this. To actually be able to feel emotions for those scenes. Hussey is alive. Well, I mean, like, if we're talking about reality, yes, but it was in the story, it was his double was killed by Lord English, right? And then Vriska kicked his ghost's ass, before fighting Lord English in the space. And supposedly, literally everything was sucked into the black hole. I'm trying to piece this shit together. I'm trying real fucking hard. Yeah, so can you really kill Hussey? Yeah, I mean, because, like, technically speaking, he was dead, right? But then who the fuck wrote the post text? Anyway. So these are very important conversations that would be good to have when we get to that place a little further down the road. At the present moment, we're only on chapter 5. We got a long ways to go before we get the nitty-gritty details about that stuff. So... Whew. Oh my god, this whole conversation. Goddamn. I cannot look at Dirk the same now, though. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Also, like, yeah, damn. Like, Dirk, what happened, my dude? The song's The Game of Life. If you find that one, then link it over here, please. I would appreciate it. I don't think I've seen that one before. Discord, yes, please send it over, and I will... Let me open my little document so I can start collecting links. And I'll be linking that below the thing. What the fuck am I doing? Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Thank you very much, Sneak Cat. I will check that out after stream today. Yeah, that one's not familiar to me. I don't think I've seen that one before. Okay, let me put that link. Where's my keyboard all the way back there? There we go. Alright, so, way back in the beginning. I'm gonna have some water before we start, and then chapter 5. The stands of the Cantown Memorial Arena are packed front to back with the audience members from every kingdom. Presently, the crowd is going nuts, enthralled by Jake English's skillful posing and mollified by the deeply theatrical stage dive that Dirk has just taken onto the mat. Dirk, in fact, has unquestioningly eaten shit. His shit-eating was so brutal that no one, except maybe Jake, cares that he's taking a phone call in the middle of a live broadcast. And no one should, really. The broadcast has been going for 3 hours already. Dave takes a seat on the couch, right in Carcat's butt groove. He observes his battered ecto-father, who is lying inside a wreath of busted robot limbs like a piece of absolute garbage. Bro, I'm watching you on the tube and I gotta say, while the beatdown you just received was as thorough as it was humiliating, I'm afraid as usual, the solution to this problem should probably not involve your decapitation. You fucking drama queen. Right, that's how he ended the last joke. Him bringing up the decapitation meme is like, they mention it being like an in-universe joke for years, but it also just like kind of recontextualizes it when he speaks directly to the reader. It's like, how much does he know about our own memes and jokes with regards to this lovely group of people? Damn, are you sure? Yeah, Jake just kicked your ass. That's all there really is to say on the matter. You're probably right, but still not entirely sure we should be so quick to rule out my beheading as a catch-all solution to any given problem. It really could save us all a lot of trouble in the future, especially me. Oh, wow. This line is another one, recontextualized by knowing the ending, especially when he gives that whole speech about how he knows he's the villain and he won't fight if people catch him and try to give him comeuppance. Like, damn. It's really amazing how this meme we have going here continues to be exactly as funny as the day it was established. Isn't it always, though? Yeah. By the way, how did you get your ass kicked so bad? Jake sucks and his raps are fucking awful. Please tell me this garbage show is as rigged as it looks. On the TV, Dirk makes an elegant hand sign that once might have represented solidarity with some ancient coastal rap group, but now has been utterly divorced from its cultural context here on Earthsea. I don't know what hand symbol that is. If anyone knows what, what's it called? If anyone knows what this is referring to, I would be interested to find out. You have very mixed feelings about him. See, now I do too. I mean, like, here's how I'm kind of thinking of it. This, like, let's call it God Dirk, because I don't know what the fuck the fandom's calling it yet, because I have not gone anywhere near there, because I don't want any spoilers. I'm not going anywhere near the fandom until after I finish reading Candy. But let's say God Dirk for these purposes. I feel like God Dirk is to regular Dirk as Crocketeer Jane was to regular Jane, and that there's definitely something there that's drawing from his actual personality, but there's something else there corrupting him, like this ultimate self stuff and living with it, and his way of coping with it is it's essentially corrupted him. When it switched to Dirk talking, you got confused and you thought it was legitimately someone else. I was also, I did the same thing. I was like, literally, what the fuck is this? It's orange, but like, is this Dirk? What the fuck is happening? I had to reread that, the page after, when like the last line is orange and then the next page is his little note to the reader. I had to read that page over like 2 or 3 times to like fully cement, like, this is fucking Dirk talking. What the hell is happening? Demiurge. Yeah, for sure. That's but that's my perspective on the matter in terms of how this reflects on Dirk as a character, is that he's experiencing a corrupting force in the same way that Crocketeer Jane was. Or Grimbark Jade, you know. I'm that's kind of the lens that I'm looking at it through to parse it in terms of, you know, after all of this, who is Dirk really, kind of thing. But yeah, no, Dirk is definitely in this. He, as he says, he becomes the villain, and I just kind of like, it hurt because, you know, Dirk's not my favorite character, but I still liked him. And Jane, honestly, Jane too. I was like, you know, Jane was not at the top of my list, but, you know, not a character that I disliked, really. So, seeing them in the light of day in such a way. Well, I mean, Dirk is being corrupted by an outside force. Although, I don't know. See, now everyone's actions are coming into question. Because they call it, on the log page, Tales of Dubious Authenticity. That's the subline. And I don't know about the candy route, and I don't want to get into that because I haven't started it, but at least in the meat route, I think what that means is that, because, you know, now that I've gone all the way through and I know that Dirk was literally messing with people's heads, it has me, like, pulling into question every decision that every character has made, all of their actions, all of their thoughts is described. You can't wait to talk. I can't wait to talk about it either. I'm going to start reading that after stream today. I just decided not to read it before stream so that I wouldn't have like the beginnings of that clouding up in my head, and that I could really just focus on this. And then next weekend, though, it's going to be all spoilers, no holds barred, because I'm definitely going to have finished it by then. I'm hoping to finish it in the next 2 days. But yeah, because like even, you know, like Jane's action, Dirk really wanted her to be president. And it's kind of like just how much, because Dirk was kind of like her right-hand man, just how much was Dirk messing with her head, placing thoughts and inclinations there to get her to do certain things or think certain things during her campaign. Like, how much of that was really her kind of thing, you know? And I mean, Jake, we find out that he's messing with him like so much. It recontextualizes everything. Ugh. Okay. I feel like I've repeated myself 3 times. I feel like I've gotten that point home. And I would like to actually finish more than 1 chapter today, so I'm gonna keep reading. Okay. Right, the rap group. That's where I got caught up. On the TV, Dirk makes an elegant hand sign that once might have represented solidarity with some ancient coastal rap group, but now has been utterly divorced from its cultural context here on Earthsea. The camera pans away from him and over the crowd. It zooms in on a young crocodile wearing an oversized t-shirt with Jake's highly marketable ass plastered over it and the phrase "Tally-ho" written in big bubble letters. Dave, there's such a thing as showmanship. I'm sure I don't need to explain this to you, of all people. Okay, cool, it's fake. Just making sure. We really don't like to use that word. LMAO, okay. Holding back a little to achieve certain results doesn't necessarily mean you're participating in a farce or rigging the event. We do this all the time. We hold back our thoughts, our true feelings, our potential. We disguise how much we know about what and when, for many purposes. To ease relations, to let others behave naturally and make up their minds without undue intervention, to wait for the right moments to show our hands, to pick our battles. In life, there are many reasons to show restraint, which would never be regarded as an attempt to rig reality. Oof, my dog, you are full of some shit today, aren't you? Absolutely. And when it comes to theater, there are just as many reasons for restraint. To build tension, to set the stage, to give the people someone to root against. Is that what you're doing right now? Making people root against you? What, by losing a round? No, man. That's just standard pacing stuff when it comes to Battlecraft. No, I mean by holding up the whole fight by talking to me. I can see you on TV. They're booing you, dude. The crowd has indeed finally exhausted both its patience and its thirst for the ceaseless ogling of Jake's impressive glutes. The camera swings around to focus on Dirk, who, since landing on his self-admittedly second-rate ass, has not moved except to make arcane rap-related hand gestures. I know, reading it in the context we have now, all the machinations about waiting for the right moment to reveal your hand, and it just seems so much more sinister. The excitable salamander manning the camera switches to a fisheye lens for some unfathomable reason, giving the whole exchange an air of demented absurdity. Sorry, I'm just squinting at the word demented. I feel like that's not. That word's easier. Dirk's sunglasses distort and stretch to dominate the entire screen. Moving along, I guess. Oh, then yes, I guess that is what I'm doing. Jake! Oh, this is the first time he speaks. Ugh. Dirk, are you going to be much longer with your telephone call? The crowd is getting feisty. You didn't get too badly winded from our last scrum, did you, Dirk? Haha, no, Jake. I'm fine. I'll be just a minute. What about the agitated rabble? They're starting to throw things. I don't know. Do a dance or something. Sing a song. They love anything you do. Okay, sounds stupid, but I'll try. Jake tips an unimaginary hat towards center stage and begins doing the Charleston. Dave is subjected to an entire fisheye lens full of Jake's booty shorts flexing and constricting against his tanned thighs. Just as Dirk predicted, the crowd immediately loses its shit, except for a single Carpathian in the front row who continues to glower at Dirk with an expression of absolute and total contempt. Why do you want people to hate you so much? It's fucked up. You're reading way too much into it. If I wanted another round of embarrassingly indulgent and mutually masturbatory psychoanalysis, I would have called my daughter instead. Oh, all of the, like... It's like this... Dirk and Rose both, actually, with the familial terms, like, they started on an ironic baseline, but they flipped to a weird, like... semi-not ironic thing. And then there's, like, the fuck shit later, and I don't... We'll talk about that when we get to it. Do I need to point out how fucking weird what you just said was, or can that start going without saying at this point? Oh, you read a fanfic that desensitized you to it. Yeah, I mean, like, oh, that's the other disappointing thing, is that in the beginning, I got to Dirk and Rose's first conversation, and I was so fucking excited, because I mean, like, I know that I was definitely not the only one who was like, Hussy, show us the forbidden Rose and Dirk conversations. And now I'm just like, oh dear. You were so hoping for Dirk Jake. Yeah, this, I mean, I don't know about Candy, but like the meat side just threw Dirk Jake under the fucking bus. Like, I immediately, like, reading all that, I was thinking of I was thinking a lot about Optimistic Duelist and about everyone else on that his Discord server who love Dirk Jake so much. Like, that whole, like, there's a huge chunk of that server who are massive Dirk Jake fans who fought tooth and nail against fandom derision to keep loving this thing. And, like, oh man, that's a fucking blow. That is a low blow. I mean, the other thing is that, like, again, Dirk, I'm viewing through the lens of, like, has been corrupted, right? And was corrupting Jake, so it's kind of hard to tell how Jake actually feels about him. Jake does not deserve all of this crap. Jake deserves to be fucking taken seriously and not bimboified. By the same token, Tavros should also be taken seriously. I've noticed, of course, I think it's, you know, it's a page thing or whatever in narrative to have that kind of oversimplified one-note joke character type treatment, even if you're a developed, complicated character or person type thing. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have, like, words to say. But yeah, Jake just, like, Jake got, like, the worst end of it with, I think that's what was implied, is that Jake got the worst end of it when it comes to Dirk's messing with people's heads. And it just, like, hurts my heart. Okay. So they agree that it's fucking weird and it can go without saying now. The point is, playing myself up as a villain figure in this hacky rap pageant has nothing to do with getting people to dislike me. Besides, everyone loves a good villain. When they boo, they don't really mean it. I think you'd be surprised by how popular I actually am. I don't know, man. Like, you could pick apart with the recontextualization of his dialogue, you could pick it apart for fucking days. Holy shit. Like, I honestly don't even know where to start with this. Because obviously, you know, everybody loves a good villain, right? Like, and I mean, well, that's the thing, though, is that there are going to be some people who, at least, at the very least, in the sense of it being well-written narrative arc, or that are going to really love, like, Villain Dirk. You know, and I mean, I do think that as a narrative, Meat is well-written. Like, I'm kind of confused still, but, like, you know, it took so many twists and turns. And I was just like, damn. You know? But, like, oh, you could pick this apart for ages. Something flies out of the audience and smacks Dirk in the side of the head before flopping out of view of the camera. He doesn't react or make a facial expression at all. Did someone just throw a diaper at you? There's gonna be some diapers, yeah. Sounds bad. Okay, not a doubt in my fucking mind, that was written by V. V and his fucking concert diapers. The point is, this is much less about me, and more about providing a foil for Jake's heroism and charisma. It's very important that his popularity continues to be cultivated, to maximize his political capital. Political capital? What the fucker? Okay, how long have you known about the Jane thing? I mean, is this something you have been planning for, like, a long time, or? Planning is such an intense word. God damn it. Look, let's just say there have been some conversations. Does that meet with your approval? Jane is a shitty candidate, dude. She's going to be so shitty. I thought you'd feel that way. I respectfully disagree. I get she's a good friend of yours and all, but even you have to admit how far up her own ass she is. Of course, I consider it to be among her best qualifications for the job. Yeah, 'cause he can get in her head easier that way. Ah! Christ. Okay, if nothing else, you have to at least take into account the devastation to the economy this will cause. You know perfectly well how much we differ on fiscal policy. Maybe this isn't the best time for one of our epic debates on the subject? Yeah, what was I thinking? Wasting the time of the dude currently holding up a televised rap contest so bad he's getting diapers thrown at him. Dave in economics. I know, Dave's passion for economics is, you know, just as a thing that has developed over time, is like a thing that I hope to continue seeing in Fix, because it just, like, he's just like he's really well developed as like a really varied character. His interests are like, he likes rap, but also taxidermy and photography and economics. Like, it's a varied enough group of interests that, like, it really sounds like a real person, because real people have interests like that. They're all over the fucking place. I really love the character building in Homestuck. I think it's very good. Anyway. Dave, I think if you search your soul, you'll come to the same conclusion I have. Jane is just what this planet needs. We've all had our fun here, but it's easy to overlook the fact that We've all had our fun here, but it's easy to overlook the fact that civilization on Earth C is hardly a substantial proposition. Hardly a sustainable proposition. Just beneath the surface, it's quite a dangerous and unstable place. You can't wait for economics to show up in Fix. Yeah, maybe I'll actually Google what the fuck neoliberal austerity measures means. I forgot. Oh, I was meaning to do that because I don't know what the fuck that means. Like, I feel like I should, as a political young adult, but I super don't know what the fuck that means. I know that, which is why I actually think it would be cool to have a president that is good instead of bad. He's not as great as you think. What? Who? Obama? How dare you? No, fool. Karkat. Because he was digging through Dave and Karkat's heads, and that's how he knows that Karkat's gonna run. You actually know what that means. I suspected that you would know what that means, because you are far more into the theoretical and economical side of politics than I am. I lost my place. Oh, right, there I am. Oh. I think your heart is in the right place, but the dude is a complete amateur. He'll get eaten alive. I also have a hard time imagining he even wants the job. Really, it's an awful idea for him to even run. Think about how much it's going to inflame the interspecies tensions on this planet. Is that what you want? I'm happy for both of you, really. It's just nice that you encourage and support each other in this way. But you're sending him on a fool's errand, which can end only badly. Dave opens his mouth to argue, but something else occurs to him. Wait, how do you even know he's entering the race? We, just decided this. Brain mindfuck bullshit. That's how. A competent political operative has his ways. That's shitty cover-up. Besides, it was always pretty obvious to me you'd react this way the moment the announcement was made. Okay, that's kind of creepy, I guess, but it doesn't change anything. He's running for president, and he's going to fucking win. End of story. Fair enough. Though now I'm wondering, since you and Jane have been planning this for a while, how many key endorsements have you locked up? Because if you've already got Jake on your side, then I guess we might as well just fucking quit. I wouldn't worry about that. He and I don't quite have the rapport we once did. He's over me, and doesn't spare opportunities to make ostentatious demonstrations of this claim. Sorry, I just got a little lost. What I think, I'm trying to remember exactly which part of the dialogue you would be referring to there, Sneak Cat. Basically, he doesn't like being told what to do, especially not by me. So it's fair to say, as of now, he's still fully in play. Not that I should be encouraging you, really. You are one double-talking son of a bitch, you know that? I can't tell if you don't want us to run, or a reverse psychology mind-fucking us into running. Does it matter? I guess not. Not like I can just stand around and wait for President Crocker to, write fucking grammar laws into the Constitution. Oh, the shitty cover-up. Yeah, it doesn't look... it doesn't look that shitty unless you know the context behind it. And you're just like, what the fuck? It's super vague. I think that's the big thing. Good. That's a heroic attitude to have, which I'm pleased to hear. Even if your plan is stupid, which it is, and even if Karkat would be an atrocious president, which he would. Sorry to cut this short, but diapers are starting to come down pretty hard right now, and some of them haven't even had their babies removed. What? That was a joke. Goodbye, Dave. Dirk hangs up the phone and wipes off his face. The mood in Cantown Memorial Arena is tense, snapping and popping from the dual cooling and heating of the audience's expectations and tempers. An uneven silence begins to fall over the stadium as Dirk hops to his feet. Jake can't help but watch the motion, raking his eyes over the muscles shifting beneath the skin of Dirk's neck and arms. There is something implacably magnificent about Dirk Strider, Jake thinks, untamed like a wild game beast of incredible size and strength. Of course, their history together is never far from Jake's mind, however many years it's been since their last tussle of an amorous nature. The old dramas and triumphs in their days of spurb. Dirk's companionship had been taxing to the heart, to say the least, and yet he'd taught Jake so much about combat, philosophy, life, love. But despite But sometimes, despite their checkered and problematic past, Jake's wishes? There's a typo there. Jake wishes that he could seize Dirk by the proverbial horns and wrestle him bodily into becoming a much more agreeable fellow. Then again, who would Dirk be if he weren't so contentious and imperious? Certainly not someone to inspire such wistful lollygagging. Jake can't help but observe. Dirk, you sneaky self-aggrandizing fuck. That whole last paragraph was just stroking your own ego. Anyway, also, this is word for word what Jake yells at Dirk right before he leaves. That is it. Word for word. Combat, philosophy, life, love. Oh boy. Sorry for the momentary diversion, Jake. Now, where were we? Momentary? Gadzooks, man, you were on the phone for half a friggin' hour. I know you'd like to get the crowd all hot and bothered, but we are supposed to be professionals here. You're right, my bad. Won't happen again. How about you kick off the next round? I bet this crowd will settle its shit right down the moment you drop the latest rhymes you've been tinkering with. You know the ones. You don't mean... Oh, but I do. Oh no, I forgot that I was gonna have to read this whole fucking thing. God damn it. Why did they have to make Jake rap? Why did they have to make me read it out loud? I'm gonna make this second call-out post for V. I feel like this reeks of V's involvement because he's the one who wrote the meta line about laughing at streamers having to read the armpit part out loud. You will allow me to not rap. You know what? I know that I'm sort of grinding my teeth, but I read through every single rap in Homestuck proper, all of Dave's raps, even Tavros' shitty raps and Gamzee's raps. I must forge ahead. I am dedicated to reading each and every one of these words out loud with my voice. You're begging me not to. Well, I may lose some of my dignity here, but I am dedicated to the cause. It's relatively short. Like, it looks long, but it probably won't take that long to read out loud. Except for the fact that I'm probably going to stumble over all of the really fucking old-timey language. You're beatboxing. Thank you, Aleph. Okay. Fuck it. Jake's face lights up. He composes himself, adjusting a bow tie, although he's not wearing one, and making a vague gesture like he's twirling one end of that mustache Dirk had not yet let him grow. Oh! Before I do that, what the fuck? That was a big red flag. Just before we move on, when I read that at first, I was like, that's like, whoa, that's super controlling. What the fuck business does Dirk have telling him not to grow a mustache? Apparently the kind of business where he's literally all up in Jake's head. Yikes. Anyway, that's... Okay, continuing on. Dirk lets him go with a gentle smile, like the sort you'd give a dog performing a trick adequately. Jake responds to the signal like an Olympic athlete hearing the starter pistol. He was born for this. I have had water and I'm going to attempt to rap in the voice of Jake English. I honestly feel like reading Tavros and Gamzee's raps was even worse than this, so, like, this is not going to be so bad. Hands over your eyes with distress. Y'all, it's not going to be that bad. I mean, like, I'm not a good rapper. I am not a rapper, like, any kind of rapper. So, like, that part's probably not going to be great, but, okay. Oh, God. Tally-ho, it's me, Jake McGee, popping my pistols off, 2 shots and a kiss. My aim is tops, I'll never miss. 1 shot to the heart and the other to your lips, I'm heedless. You can't impede this. While these cads are all hat and bleh. Wow, I cannot talk fast. I did warm-ups today. I did my vocal warm-ups, but I also didn't finish all of them. And if I stumble, I am just going to restart from the line that I stumbled on. I'm not trying to try and do this all in one shot. Well, these cads are all hat and very little cattle so weak, when fears they might be feedless. As I prattle and wow, I can't read. Also, cadence. I also don't really listen to much rap music, so it's going to be a little shaky, but you know. These lyrics also make no fucking sense, so like that's not helping me figure out how to say them either. Cattle so weak when fierce they might be feedless. As I prattle and digress, you try to make you regress in the middle of the battle, but surely you jest. Fiddle faddle! My rhymes are known to bring the rattle. I rattle those bones right down to the bit. I'm a mellifluous. Holy fuck. I'm a wow. Okay. That word has a lot of quick L sounds in it. I'm a mellifluous old chap who knows how to take a hit. I'm the tip-top of the morning, a rip-roaring halt to your snoring. Like pouring butter on bacon, their hunger awakens, all rascally scalawags and dastardly jackanapes, always asking for me, mate, what is shaking? With gold gas pipes such as Jake Ing's, I'm dodging their shade and ducking their jape slings, while my rump strokes a thirst that my rhymes have been slaking. And that is, not rapping, because I can't rap, but it sure was things that escaped the mouth of one Jake English. You're welcome. Anyway. Oh, that's it for this chapter. Damn. The crowd, as Dirk rightly predicted, has settled its shit right down. This is not due to any accidental brilliance on the part of Jake English, but rather due to an abashed but loyal brand of pity, the kind of devoted fan cannot help but feel when they see a beloved celebrity make an ass out of themselves during a live broadcast they have waited 2.5 years in line to buy tickets for. Dirk's phone begins going off again. You can't beatbox either, apparently. Oh dear. When the splendid lads and ladies ask me how do you do, whoops, Jake, sorry to cut you off. Looks like I'm getting another call. Really need to take this one. Gonna have to wrap this battle up sooner than scheduled. With a casual flick of the wrist, Dirk snaps out a bright red tranquilizer handgun and shoots Jake in the neck. Jake's glasses crack when he hits the mat. A chorus of boos rise up from the crowd like groundwater. Dirk artfully dodges a bucket of obscene troll fluid to field yet another very important personal call. Yo, Rose, what's up? Okay, so, of note, don't know if this might have any metatextual or, like, symbolic significance, but Jake's glasses cracking reminds me of how John's glasses broke completely when he entered the house. There's definitely symbolic significance to John's glasses breaking completely and, like, his vision blurring, kind of like lack of clarity, I guess, because hey, I'm figuring it out on the spot. Lack of clarity, because from that point forward, there's no plan. He doesn't have the instructions from Rose to follow anymore. He is missing the clarity provided by the lens of Rose's instructions, and so his glasses breaking is symbolic of that. Bam! I'm a fucking literary person. You forgot their jerk did that to Jake. Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, he does this thing, and it's like, that really stressed me out. I was like, okay, tranquilizers? You get hit by tranquilizers too many times. That's, like, really fucking bad for you neurologically, probably. Also, this chapter. Oh, we're back with John. My mind was on the first Dirk Rose conversation, but this chapter with John, oh, fucking heartbreaking. John's inner monologue here. Although, again, the whole thing is tinted weirdly by knowing that the words are being dictated by Dirk getting inside of John's head. But yeah, there's 10 minutes to break, so we might have to pause in the middle of this chapter for a break, but I'll make sure it's at a decent place, because this is one of the longer ones, I think. 6. Look up. The sky is really blue, but it's a different kind of blue than Earth sees sky. It's less, somehow, like someone took a photo of a sky and turned the contrast down a little bit, just enough to make the clouds blend into the horizon. That is to say, it isn't the kind of sky promised by a paradise planet, just an ordinary one. You realize suddenly how much you've missed the ordinary, as opposed to the supposedly perfect. You've been away from home almost as many years as you lived there. It's not just the sky. Everything else is exactly and nothing like you remembered it. The scent of damp grass, the quality of the air, the solitude. There's nothing but white houses and maple trees as far as the eye can see. A woodpecker raps away incessantly at the tree with the tire swing outside your old bedroom window. You couldn't think of anywhere else to go, so you and your little army are sitting in a circle in your old backyard exactly 1 week before the meteors hit. It's you, Rose, Dave, Jade, and all 4 of your teenage progenitors, each dressed in god-tier garbs. No trolls. No one who can die from anything less than a heroic sacrifice. At least, that is what you assume to be the reasoning for Rose's instructions to assemble your party this way. Wind slices down the street between the neat rows of bungalows. It's chilly, carrying air from the mountaintops with it. Even that feels different. The wind moves through you now, under your skin and right into your bones, skimming their hollows the way it does the homes of your salamander neighbors or the open mailbox in front of your childhood house. The smell of a cake baking wafts through the open window, and the sick stench of browning sugar fills the yard. You used to hate that too, but now it makes you want to... Dude, don't cry in front of all the cool teen versions of your friends. John, all through the meat epilogue is just big sad stuck hours. Every single time. Oh, because part of his depression was mourning the loss of his father. Like, that hit him really hard. Also, again, this, for some reason, I find the syntax funnier knowing that it's coming from Dirk. You hold back your tears with a big, ugly snort. Jake is sort of ruining the mood anyway by bouncing away on your old green slime pogo. Doesn't he realize how dangerous that thing is? Of course not, the fool. Stop insulting Jake English. Of course, this now is recontextualized by the fact that Dirk is saying it. It's really fucking, It's an interesting comparison. The way Dirk is treating Jake is in the way that he's talking about Jake and insulting his intelligence reminds me a little bit of the way Vriska talks about Tavros. Dave fractures the silence by broaching a subject that's on everyone's mind but yours, apparently. So what's gonna happen to everyone we left in the wrecked timeline? Well, I don't actually know. I've been to that timeline 4 times now, and it always pretty much goes to shit. Oh. This has been bothering me as well. Is Kanaya going to be okay? And by Kanaya, I guess I mean everyone? She asks about Kanaya first. Her first thought is my girlfriend gonna be okay? You don't want to think it's completely Dirk, but like, yeah, like I'm pretty sure that all of this like stuff is supposed to also be Dirk. But again, I'm taking things with a grain of salt through that lens of he has been corrupted by the complete realization of his ultimate self. Because he doesn't have that same kind of sense of mind in the way that the Sprites Squared have. In that they're sprites and they're built differently. His, for all his talk of, there's a lot of talk about authorial bias and authorial influence, especially when it comes to controlling other people or not controlling other people, or how a story is told between Dirk and Calliope, right? His human experiences and biases are, I think, why he's not really, why he's taken a much more twisted headspace after this full realization than, like Jasperos or Dave Petta. Yeah, what about Karkat and Terzi and the mayor? Oh my god! What? Actually, Dave, I hate to say it, but I think John might have actually saved the mayor by bringing us all here. What? Oh yeah, there's the coloring error. That's supposed to be red. What? What could that possibly even mean? I just remembered. Before John zapped us all here and unbrainwashed me, I think I was going to kill the mayor. What the fuck, Jade? No. Jade, that is seriously uncool. I know! I was gonna kick him right into the lava! That is fucked up on so many levels. I don't even know where to begin. It's like an Escher staircase of cartoon villainy. It's got like... I got nothing. It's so Grimbark? Jesus, no, Jade. It's stone cold evil. I can't believe you just said that shit and then woofed at me. I can't even look at you right now. Everyone, can we... Yeah, John is watching this like, how do I handle the teen versions of us? What the fuck? Everyone turns to look at you immediately, like you're an authority, which you kind of are. You are struck with the sudden and uncomfortable realization that you are the only adult in the yard. You've never felt like an adult until this moment. Yeah, I get that. I still feel like such a baby, because I mean, like, he's 23, right? So I just, I just turned 22. Even, being 22, I still feel like the baby. I'm, not even out of university yet, and whenever I enter adult spaces, I'm always one of the youngest people there, if not the youngest. But, like, working with, like, when I was teaching kids at the art studio, or when I work at that summer camp that works with teens, then I feel like an adult, because I'm like, oh my god, I am in charge of these children. And they feel very grown up, but they really don't know what they're doing. You are baby. But yeah, it just, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna ask that, but yes, you are baby. Yeah, it just, nothing makes you feel well and truly adult more than actually being around a group of minors and having that sudden realization of like, I'm the adult? So that's just, yeah, long and short of it, I completely sympathize with John's revelation here. 18 came and went, and nothing really changed except that you're pretty certain you could grow a bitchin' mustache now if you wanted. And you might even have one by now if you didn't feel a sense of duty to uphold the sacred Egbert family tradition of shaving at least once per day, even if it isn't really necessary. You owe at least that much to the memory of your departed father. Let's chill out for a minute. I'm sure this is all very confusing to all of you. About the timeline you're leaving behind. Yeah, I get it. It's weird. I also left one major timeline behind. Well, two if you count the one I just came from, where we're all adults. The truth is, I have no idea what happens to these timelines and all the people living in them when I just zap out of them to use my retcon powers to change stuff. They might stop existing completely. I don't know. The thing is, we can't really think about that. We can't really think about it. It's tough, but if we're all acting like heroes here and trying to do the right thing, then we have to put it all behind us. It's a sacrifice we're making. I mean, we're risking our lives by fighting a powerful monster, sure. But the sacrifice I'm talking about is saying goodbye to the life we thought we belonged to and all the people in it. Probably forever. It sucks, and I'm sorry I had to ask this of you all, but there's no other way. Everyone who has ever existed and will ever exist is counting on us, I think. So, yeah. Shrug. It's all you can think to do to punctuate your speech of lukewarm inspirational value. Judging from the confused looks from the others, all of them may share your assessment of your own oratorical skills, except for one person. She's perked up at your spiel, regarding you with alert and admiring eyes. Honestly, that wasn't going too bad until he kind of petered out around here. This, if he cut this and maybe perked up the tone a bit at the end, his tone of voice, it might not actually be that bad. But this isn't good. It's all you can think to do to... Oh, yeah, I read that paragraph. Ugh. Right, Roxy. Damn. John, I know we just met and all, but that was a fine-ass speech. And I don't care if I speak for the rest of my peeps here, but I'm fucking psyched. Let's do this shit. She wonks at you. You weren't prepared to get passively hit on by the definitely not legal version of a girl you used to have a crush on at the age she was when you first met her, only a few hours after you watched the actually legal version of her engage in passionate hand-holding with her possibly aromantic skeleton alien monster girlfriend. What a sentence. You start to sweat, and again, the unwelcome odor of undercooked meat emanating from your body makes itself known to your nose. Yeah, all the stuff with Roxy and Callie coming up again. When I was reading it yesterday, I hadn't read far enough to learn about the gender stuff, but now I'm like, gender things! And it makes me very excited. Which actually, kind of begs the question. Since we're reading this with no holds barred on spoilers, question for the folks in chat, what your opinions are on the subject of, should I, while reading through this, replace with the gender terms and pronouns that end up being the correct ones in the end, or just read the pages as is? I'm going to keep reading the pages as is until general consensus is reached. But, yeah, what are your thoughts and feelings on that, folks, with regards to Roxy and Callie? You still go with the ones said? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when it changes in the actual narrative, it's like a big moment. It's really exciting and important, and I love it. No spoilers, please. Not even slightly. Mm-mm. I promise you, I will read it very soon. And by next weekend, it will be done, and we can talk about candy all we want. But for now, let's just stick to meat, please. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Anyway, we need to make battle plans. You quickly distance your mind from any additional discomforting thoughts about your old and semi-ex-flame and propel yourself into a wildly unrehearsed tactical planning session. You review each of your abilities, strengths, and weaknesses, and then cobble together a reasonably sound approach to besieging a young and bratty version of Lord English by way of surprise attack. The planning is mostly disorganized and structureless, although some common themes that often recur involve you or your original 3 friends leading the charge, since you are the oldest and wisest, and therefore the strongest, with the exception of Jade, whose gaudy array of powers makes her the most formidable of the group, bar none. Reading that out loud now, it seems kind of like a run-on sentence. Aside from that, it appears the consensus is that the melee will likely devolve into an absolute free-for-all, at least going by the general patterns of incoherent banter, shit-talking, and points of pedantic tactical disagreement plaguing the jam session. You overhear someone make mention of a huge gay hope bubble? That can't be right, but you didn't catch who said it. A flamboyant pink spell? Yeah, this conversation is off the rails now. Both of those things are 100% factual, and I appreciate that very much. At the precise moment you believe the meeting has outlasted its usefulness, Jake does you the favor of effectively pounding the gavel for adjournment by rocking back a bit too far on your lawn pogo and launching himself over the top of the ride on the next bounce. He face plants right into the dirt. Jeepers! Dirk goes to help your yard clean the Jake off its dirt. Dirk, sneaky bastard, stop being mean. Jade follows, to help out. It seems she wants to chat with Jake, considering it's the first time they've met, from her perspective. Some eruptions of chatter can be heard from other members of the group. It's easy to forget, since the reunion between your friends and all your young relatives happened so long ago from your point of view, but this is all quite novel to everyone here. They've hardly had a moment to process it, since your plan to drag them all off to fight Lord English has understandably stolen the thunder of an otherwise poignant homecoming. Poor kids, you think. You decide to give the teens some space to work out their shit before you take off to save the universe. You end up wandering all the way around to the other side of your house and back, until you reach a window facing the neighbor's fence. You can see straight into your dad's study from here. You go still, feet rooted to the ground, heart hammering in your ribs. Your dad's sitting right there, smoking his pipe and operating his professional-looking, boring gray PDA. He's got the kitchen timer set up on his desk, and you can hear the notes of his favorite fatherly jazz album filtering out through the window, which is open only an inch. The sun is hitting the glass in such a way that you can't see his face. I know! It's so fucking heartbreaking. John. This is probably the last time you'll ever have the chance to talk to him. The urge is overwhelming, but you can't, and not just because your feet won't move and your throat is closing up. It's just that it would be a really bad idea to bother him. It would totally freak him out to have an adult version of his son show up out of the blue and knock on his window like a creep. He probably wouldn't even recognize you. I mean, okay, this last sentence, I am fairly certain that his parent would absolutely recognize him. You hoped he would go inside? I mean, I really wanted to see it too, but I also knew that, like, by entering the building, he would be dooming the timeline, like, before the game even started, you know? I mean, it doesn't specify exactly which timeline he took the group of them to. So even just doing that could be dooming the timeline, actually. But yeah, I wasn't surprised that he didn't, because, you know, I noticed there were a couple of moments and a couple different things where you see these emotional, heartfelt moments could absolutely come up, but they get cut short, and I think that's part of the whole meat thing, right? It's all the nitty-gritty, very, very little of the emotional stuff, right? And when it's emotional stuff, it's just the stuff that's going to punch you in the gut. Like, there's not a lot of feel-good happening. Fair enough. It's time to go, John. You return to the backyard. Your teen friends have split off into genetically segmented groups. Roxy and Rose sitting in the grass, Jade and your shared ecto-parents laughing together by the green slime pogo, and the Striders leaning against the farthest fence with a tense 1.5 feet of space between them. It's heartwarming, but something doesn't feel right about it to you, possibly for selfish reasons. It's the selfishness of your own perspective, of wanting the memories you had of the reunion between all these people to be the most notable and legitimate manifestations of the event. To see the moment echo or play out all over again, to overhear the heartfelt confessions repeat themselves. It feels cheap. To you, that is. To the man who lived through it all before and selfishly doesn't want to have that memory tarnished with a tawdry reprisal, an exhibition of counterfeit emotional catharsis among pale shadows of those you care about most in the world. You wonder, do you see these teen versions of your friends as real? Are you treating them at Rose's behest as simple puppets? Doing your part to insist they fill friend-shaped recesses in an essential plan to stabilize all else that can be considered important, a distinction no longer applying to them? Do you care at all about what fate it may be that you are sentencing these children to? Are you becoming as complicit in the fatalistic evils of paradox space as Lord English himself? Are you becoming a monster, John Egbert? You can't bear to watch them bond any further than this. Nor can you tolerate another moment of your self-incriminating reverie. You wait 1 more minute before breaking it up, but not a second longer. This is very Dirk. This, upon reread, reeks of Dirk's train of thought. That's the kind of philosophical bullshit that he thinks about, and the type of thoughts that he's putting in other people's head. When the fuck has John Egbert ever gone down that road? I don't mean it as an insult, but he's never been an overly philosophical kind of person. You know what I mean? Like, that does not sound like John thoughts at all. I think that was absolutely, like, one of the strongest notes of Dirk's influence. Hey, kids. Please, adult John, don't do that. Rose. Rose gets up from the grass, elegant as a fold in paper, and brushes down her skirt. She tilts her head at you, looking very much like Rose did when she saw you off that morning. It's obvious that she's trying very hard to hide her apprehension. Is it time to go? Yeah, at first it's like, yeah, like, people change, but, like, now it's like, with the filter of Dirk and keeping in mind how Dirk thinks about things, it's, yeah, you can pick and pull specific parts of the narrative that feel very Dirk. She tilts her head at you, looking very much like Rose did when she saw you off that morning. It's obvious she's trying very hard to hide her apprehension. Is it time to go? Yeah, no, if you want to be technical. I can zap us in wherever, whenever. We have all the time in the universe if we want. But if we don't leave now, you're afraid we never will? Heh. After all these years, in the reverse direction, she still has your number. I guess it's true that people don't really change. They just grow up. Rose gives Roxy a strange look, appearing to silently acknowledge an entire conversation that has been taking place, using a great volume of words that aren't being spoken. I guess. She smiles. That was such a sweet moment between John and Rose. Is another one of those things that's like, is he manipulating their speech, or is that all them? Because what you're getting is the untouchable things, the voice, and the things you actually say. Even that, yeah. It does seem kind of like his influence is pretty much entirely to do with thoughts and inclinations, but those inclinations can then influence the speech, right? Like, and so he's not literally directly putting words in people's mouths and making them say very specific things. He's just manipulating their heads so that they do and say what he wants them to in their own way, but still in the way that he wants them to, kind of. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this moment just like that was really one of the rare heartwarming moments in here for me. I mean, there are actually a good number of heartwarming moments in the Meat one. It's just that we don't get those big emotional scenes the same way I'm expecting to find in Candy. But that just like, you know, it reminded me of Rose in the prologue saying, we're still fundamentally the same bunch of losers, right? And then this kind of nail on the head. Ugh. Get the show on the road. Okay, everyone. I've never zapped this many people before, so let's all just, hold hands, maybe? In a circle, I mean. That should work. God, this is so dumb. It's not dumb, it's perfect. Nah. Shh. Alright. Is everyone ready then? Only Jade says yes enthusiastically. Everyone else takes a deep breath and looks around at each other. Hands are taken, some tentatively, some firmly. When all sweaty teenage palms are correctly clasped, you place your own hand on Jade's shoulder and concentrate on where you need to go. The last thing you hear before zapping away is your dad's kitchen timer going off in his study. And here's the Dirk and Rose conversation. It's 20 minutes after break. So, how much time do we have? Oh yeah, we've got enough time left to use this album for break. So we're going to take 5. And this is another one of the longer kind of chapters. So I'm guessing that this one is likely going to be the last chapter for the evening. So it'll be only 3 chapters today. Progress on this, I think, is going to be super slow. If we do... Let me do some quick math here, okay? We're going to bust out the motherfucking Windows calculator. So if I've got 44 chapters... and we divide that by 4 chapters per stream, that's going to take 11 streams. Now, if we divide that by 3 chapters per stream, that's 15 streams. I mean, there's a decimal, but we'll round up to 15 streams. So that's like over a month to get through Meat alone, and then like and probably also over a month for Candy. So we're gonna be with this epilogue a long fucking time. Sincerest apologies to anyone who was like really looking forward to the Problem Sleuth streams, because those are gonna be on hiatus for a good while. I really fucking hope that we can finish the epilogue before I have to go to camp. I might... deal with that when I get there, but I'm thinking... At Rose of Winter, we only have 3 more streams because there's the 3 more princes, but I'm thinking past that point of... Well, I was initially thinking I would cancel bonus streams because I'm uploading the weekend ones now, and it's, it takes some work. But if it gets down to the wire, I might start slotting in epilogue streams in the bonus stream slot. But we'll see. We'll see how much time it all takes. But yes, these streams do have the tendency to involve a lot of prattling on. Not that it's a bad thing. We have wonderful conversations, but it does mean that we're going to be meandering through this at a more casual and thoughtful pace. Okay, actually, Sneak Cat, that video that you sent, I think, before I start, break, I'll just play that for break first, and then we'll play a little music afterward if there's still time. So, we will watch that, lyric stuck, and then be back in 5. Hello. That 5 minutes went by fast. Damn. Alright, we are back. Yeah, thanks for sending that link, Sneak Cat. I absolutely see, why you were reminded of that video by the meat root. Let's see, we have half an hour to get through all of this. It's a little shorter than the last chapter, but still a mouthful. So, hopping on in. 7. The boxing bell is going off like it's having a fit. Dirk has to stick a finger in one ear to hear what Rose is saying over the cacophony of booze and buckets being lobbed towards the center stage. He considers it all pretty fucking annoying, so he flips off the crowd and jumps the ropes. Always a good idea to abscond from the stadium before the customary show and riot hits full swing. Once again, I am reminded of V and Marvis. The last standing robot scoops up Jake's unconscious body and cradles him to its chest before blasting off through the roof. On the other end of the phone, Rose lets him know what's up. It's not so much what is up as what is down, the answer to which is, proverbially, me. I mean that both physically and philosophically, by the way. You're down philosophically? Yes. I'm not sure what that actually means. What doesn't it mean, Dirk? Glad to see that my genetic predisposition for melodrama is still alive and well in my slime progeny even after all these years. Please don't interrupt. This is important, and I'll need all the energy I can spare to sustain even a heavy monologic transmission of the relevant facts. I sure know how to read words. Please don't interrupt. This is important, and I'll need all the energy I can spare to sustain even a heavily monologic transmission of the relevant facts. I see. Forgive my brief, casual interjection into the conversation you initiated. Please continue. Thank you. Anyway, the matter at hand is my condition, with which you're already familiar. I've struggled to devise the right way of telling you without causing undue alarm, which would unquestionably trigger the overbearing tendency of yours to solve the problem for me, which is not the kind of circumstance my constitution can withstand these days. I can barely lift a wrist to my forehead to telegraph my infirmity of late. Your bullshit is precisely the 1,000-pound feather that would knock me clean through my apartment's plate glass window. I fucking love this as a sentence, but also, solve the problem for... Guess what he's gonna fucking try and do anyway. Guess what he's been machinating forever anyway. This is troubling to hear, of course, but rest assured, I'm taking solace in the fact that your infirmity doesn't seem to have spread to your vocal cords yet. See, Dirk? This is exactly the shit I don't need from you on this day. This line, again, feels so much like John. Please don't be a bitch. See, Dirk, this is exactly the shit I don't need from you on this day. Just the way that it's worded, it's so quintessentially Rose. Sorry. The bottom line is, I am ascending, and it is terrible. Rose adjusts her position on the couch with the body language of one about to dive into the latest gossip about a mutual friend. The mutual, in this case, her tortured psyche. Years of refining my seer of light powers have cursed me with what is approaching near infinite prescience. Dwelling in this idyllic post-canon realm has worn down the barriers separating my primary consciousness from the memories and experiences of all my doomed alternate selves, which were forgotten and discarded over the due course of our journey. As I approach the realization of my ultimate self, I cannot stop the extant knowledge from seeping in. I am plagued by near-constant visions from the less fortunate versions of myself, as well as a broadening view of the metatextual nature of our existence. Day by day, I get closer to comprehending the full picture of the narrative. However, I am still trapped in this limited body. There is only so much strain that my very finite synapses can take. It drains all of my energy to keep my consciousness focused on relevant events, but even then I am losing my ability to discern what is and is not canonically relevant, let alone what is also true or essential. And all of this is making me incredibly fucking sick. Ugh. All this wordy prose and then just, this is making me incredibly fucking sick. Ugh, Rose. Oh, is that all? Well, in the spirit of full disclosure, same. Rose is silent on the line for a few moments. Dirk can hear how labored her breathing is, how thin it is. She snorts out a quick, humorless laugh. Really? That's the hottest take you can manage? I know, Rose being sick makes me go frowny face, too. Especially knowing the shit that Dirk pulls and the fact that by the end of all this, we still don't know what the fuck happens. I mean, we should have fucking known that we weren't gonna get solid ass fucking closure. Or, 100% closed ends from the epilogue. We should have known. It at the meat root at least, it closes off a lot of loops that were left open by canon. But it just opened a bunch of other fucking doors, so where are we really? Did we really get anywhere? Yeah. But I mean, that constant looping and theorizing, part of what I love about it, and you gotta love it to love Homestuck, It's, it's a big part of the comic as a whole. Okay, really? That's the hottest take you can manage? Of course not. They haven't built the vessel yet that can withstand the temperatures of atmospheric entry into one of my hotter takes, let alone the hottest. It wasn't a take. It was an empathetic admission toward my pitiable, similarly omniscience-stricken offspring. We are suffering from the same condition, Rose. New theory next part on 612. Oh, I don't know if I'll fucking handle it. Do not know if I'll be able to handle that. No, I think 612 is pretty much the next closest one. It's 413, 612, 1025, and 1111. She allows several rare conversational beats to pass in silence between them to process the admission. We are? Sure. It doesn't sound to me like you're suffering much at all. Well, I'm not. I guess I used the wrong phrase. You are suffering from it. I am adapting to it. I already have, really. When were you going to tell me this? When you were ready. So you have determined that I'm ready to receive this rather critical piece of information now, of all times? What distinguishes the present from the other moments you could have mentioned it? Were you waiting for the effects of my condition to become so unendurable that I finally felt the need to explain what was happening to me in full? Were you, in essence, waiting for a cry for help? Wow. Well, when you put it that way, it makes me sound like kind of a dick. But I guess it isn't far from the truth either. Well, you do a lot of other stuff later down the road that kind of validates that you're being more than kind of a dick here and in a lot of places. Unbelievable. Look, it's not something you just spring on people that frivolously. Hey folks, just so you know, the boundaries of my awareness are coming apart, and now I know almost everything about everyone, everywhere. Also, the process should be tearing my body apart, but actually I'm handling it quite well. Thanks for the concern, though. Anyway, just thought I'd keep y'all fucking abreast, on my incomprehensible brain and all. Peace. Name is one letter away from Dick. I gotta go back in my fucking blog archive on Tumblr and find all of the posts that were making jokes in 2012 about or maybe late 2011. I don't know exactly when the timeline on that would be, but all of the posts that were joking about, I swear to God, if Hussey makes his name Dick, I'm gonna flip my shit, because we only had the first 2 letters for so long. I mean, like a month and a half to 2 months or something like that, we were waiting for their introduction of their names. But yeah, Roxy and Dirk, we only had like the first few letters. The first 2 letters, and so many people were like, if it's Dick, I swear, because nobody could think of a name that started with D-I and was 4 letters, and the name, like, Homestuck was my introduction to the name Dirk, and I think it was for a lot of people, because it's a really uncommon name. It primed me for watching Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency on Netflix. But, yeah, I really want to go back and find those posts because they were fucking hilarious. Well, in my 15-year-old memory, they were hilarious. Maybe some of them aren't so funny anymore, but I still want to find them. Fine, you're a cagey guy. This isn't breaking news. I'm not pissed at you, I'm just so confused. Why aren't you suffering the same effects as me? There will be a time to explain all this. Despite whatever appearance of callousness I've maintained in withholding this information from you, I actually do have your best interests in mind. I don't want to wear you out on this call. There's so much more to say, but it can wait. For now, I'll just mention that I've been alert to your problem for some time, and I've been devising a solution which should permanently remedy it without compromising the boon of your expanding consciousness. And this is another thing that we don't really get to find out what the fuck it is. Like, it's heavily implied that it's some sort of robotic vessel, similar to like a Radiobot. So within the Homestuck universe, technically speaking, that technology does exist. But yeah, I would not be surprised if a similar situation happens with a Radiobot where Dirk like tinkered with the personality to make it fit his goals more. Not necessarily in a romantic sense, of course. That's, oh my god, that conversation with Karkat and Roxy and Dave in chapter like 44, I think it is. Oh my god, I was just like, holy shit, I hate this, where is it going? God fucking damn it. Of course, Dave had to open his big fucking mouth and ask very explicitly about romantic intentions. Good fucking god. That's already kind of a spoiler that I find out what it is in the candy root. Damn it! No hints. But okay. So I will eventually find out. But we don't find out what it is here, and it's kind of like, Yeah. That's my theories. Anyway. Just tossing them out there. I know, I'm being very finicky. I'm sorry. I know it's a little bit overzealous. I know, but, I lost my spot. Here? Right, I got there. Yeah. Okay. You have? What is it? Would love to tell you, but I've got some work to do. It's kind of fun to do the winky face. Yeah, I know. If you want to just, like, yeah, no. I know, winky facing is fun. But I promise you I will be on the same page in, like, 1 or 2 days. I am starting to read Candy right after I get off stream today, so, like, it's happening. Would love to tell you, but I've got some work to do. Why don't you stop by my studio later so we can hash this shit out in person? Right now, you should get some rest. So this also, when I first read this, I was like, why the fuck are you asking her to show up in person? Like, y'all, what the fuck? You literally just had, she literally opened the conversation by saying that she is incredibly physically weak, and you were just like, hey, come to my studio. Just, leave your apartment because you're physically capable of doing that, right? Ugh. Wow, it's only 12:40. I think we'd be able to get one more chapter in today, at least. Get some sleep. Okay. Thank you, Snake Cat. I will be sure to get some sleep. Yeah, there's certain I have a feeling, since I've heard some inklings of the candy root being just a little more of a gut puncher than the meat root in terms of emotional roller coaster, that there's probably going to be some moments where, like, there were moments here where I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I was like, I need to step away from this for a minute. Holy shit. Definitely moments like that here. However, yeah, like, I feel like I'm gonna come across one of those moments and be like, oh, it's time for bed. Where am I? There we go. Actually, I'm feeling oddly invigorated suddenly. I think I'm good for some more exposition, if you are. Can't say I'm surprised, but no. Have I caught you at a bad time? Nah, but there is an election coming up, and my work as a political operative is going to be absolutely essential for the fate of humanity. I see. Wheels within wheels, I assume? There are always wheels. Wheels are everywhere. I know that this is kind of a prickly subject, so I'm not going to delve into it too much, but just in terms of parallels with Vriska, wheels within wheels and irons in the fire, I immediately kind of drew that connection between there. There are always wheels. Wheels are everywhere. They aren't my wheels or yours. The wheels don't have owners or designers, but they do have caretakers. They won't keep turning on their own without someone to grease the mechanism. Which gives another level to his perspective on his whole playing God thing, or like trying to literally become God. What a burden it must be to recognize oneself as the sole machinist of reality itself. It's a curse, but somebody's got to do it. Save your strength. Come by my studio when you're feeling up to it. Goodbye. Goodbye. Dirk hangs up without waiting for a reply. He cracks his neck and tips down his shade so that he can appreciate the full brunt of the sunset, purple and orange bleeding brilliantly on the horizon. She's right about him, he thinks. While his ecto-daughter views herself as having a somewhat deft artistic hand that lends itself naturally to a gentle push-and-pull style of influence, Dirk knows his methods are mechanical, like those of an engineer. There is nothing adaptive or interpretive about his method. Every piece has a purpose, a slot, an interlocking mechanism that is functionally pointless without the whole. Dirk, satisfied with his moment of particularly astute self-reflection, rocks back on his heels and launches himself into the sky. So, again, thinking of this through the lens of his perspective. Yeah, this is just really offers more insight into like what he thinks he's really doing. And this is okay, good. This is a shorter one, so this should pretty well finish off the stream today. We got 15 minutes left to go. This is okay. Got it. I'm just trying to jog my memory as to what was this chapter was all about. John, zap to your final destination. Where the hell are you? Where the hell are we? I can't see shit. Shh. It's dark. Not like someone turned the lights out dark. More like someone destroyed the concept of light at its very source dark. It's a darkness that fills up your skull. Jake puts this more eloquently, as always. By golly, it is indeed dark as fuck. Shoosh! Jade breaks off from the group. She moves through the air gracefully, ears twitching as she sniffs through the space like a bloodhound. There, she exclaims and points down. All the way down. This is, I believe, the only time in the entire epilogue, I mean, I haven't read Candy yet, but at least in the meat route, the only time where dialogue is ever written specifically in quotations like this and not in the chat log format. Look down. All the way down beneath you, there is a light source. Gray, focused, like a spotlight, except that it's folded over the curvature of the space beneath it. At the center of it stands teenage Lord English, all decked out in his ostentatious god-tier jammies. Gamzee's there too, for some unfathomably stupid reason. There's a robot bunny chilling out on top of a chest, looking cool and kicking its cute little bunny legs back and forth. You hope that neither of these unexpected dramatis personae will play a role in the upcoming battle, because it wouldn't feel right wailing on either of them at this point. Lord English is holding something that looks like Lil Cal? It's definitely Lil Cal, and Lord English is definitely waltzing around with it in his little spotlight in the middle of nowhere, swinging the puppet around by both its floppy arms. Well, rather, he was waltzing around. He stopped the moment you looked at him. Behold your adversary. All this epilepsis is, like, I can see it in my head, that moment, the first time that John and Caliborn meet in a physical space, and there's that back and forth panels of them staring at each other that just get closer and closer and closer. Who the fuck are you? You simply refuse to answer his question. Instead, you do something so much better. Something that will make both his inevitable fate and your regard for his character incontrovertibly clear. Give him a thumbs down. It's a textbook thumbs down. Better, actually. The kind you can't really teach. Lord English drops the puppet. For a moment, he looks shocked, maybe even a little afraid, but it passes quickly. He starts laughing. Yeah, and that thumbs down, of course, is also what John did at that moment. Like, I can picture that panel so well in my head. Never mind. I know who you are. It was foretold by the masterpiece I made when I was but a boy. What? Be quiet. I'll have you know that you just interrupted a groundbreaking interpretive art piece. It was the first of its kind, performed only once, and made more valuable for its rareness. Wow. I said shut up. It's rude to talk through the overture. Which is, oh my god, of course makes me think of, shit, which act was it that he starts off by playing a fucking song on the piano with the sound effects keyboard setting? Settled down, actually. Oh no, is there a lot of discourse? I had a feeling there would be, but I haven't dug into anything yet. Ooh, okay. I mean, like, I should have known. But, okay. Thank you for the forewarning. I mean, I was kind of bracing myself for that anyway, but yeah. It's, yeah. Okay. I mean, people blew the fuck up when Act 7 came out. So many people were angry. So I'm, it's not a surprising reaction. But, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what my Twitter dashboard's gonna look like. You can somewhat understand them, but they need to sit and chill a day or three and then see what they think about it. Yeah, I I'm not done reading yet, and there are definitely some things in this route that kind of hit me wrong as a gut reaction. And, you know, that's things that we're going to be talking about over the course of these streams, right? I feel like, you know, that's kind of part of my goal with these as well, is that community discussion, like talking shit out instead of just yelling and getting mad, right? Like trying to figure out what it means and talk out, really like discuss the reasons why we feel the way that we do about these things, maybe why they were included or not included for certain things. Those sorts of conversations, I think they're just really important to have, you know, open, good faith discussions of shit. You feel me? Yeah. But yeah, no, I haven't read Candy yet, so I'm trying to withhold judgment. I mean, a lot of people were jumping out of their pants just at the tag list, right? So, yeah. I mean, it's a lot to take in. Yeah, I said shut up. It's rude to talk through the overture. But don't worry, although you missed my very important dance demonstration, which was an unprecedented act of genius, and not at all embarrassing. Now you will participate in something even more important. The young lord's face begins to distort. The unhinging of his jaw reverberates into the empty space. He laughs through the remainder of his nefarious soliloquy, which he has possibly prepared in advance for this moment. By now, surely many have witnessed my masterpiece, as it has circulated through the black veins of the dark web. Trillions have witnessed its majesty, haters and fools alike, and they have been rendered agog by my art virtuosity, my claimantship, and my wrestling moves. But now, the time has come for everyone to shut up about how great my masterpiece was, and the time is now at hand. His laughter turns into a low, crackled gurgle. It spikes towards you in waves, distorts and pitches low. He is beyond pleased with himself with the line he is about to deliver. For you all to become my masterpiece. Okay, we got time, we'll read this as well. Epilogue 2. So I noticed that it's got these kind of partition markers, and I'm not 100% sure what those mean. I believe there's 8 of them in Meat. If you were one of the haters and fools who saw Lord English's masterpiece circulating through the black veins of the dark web, and were rendered agog by its majesty, then you probably have a pretty good sense of what happened next. You probably also wouldn't be rendered that much additionally agog if you were told it didn't happen precisely as conveyed by the young lord's expertly produced claymation theater. Would it be that surprising if the first 4 heroes weren't immediately captured in the juju, as the dark web swan song broadcast through bogus Vine videos originally depicted? Probably not. Would it raise any eyebrows if the action turned out to be a bit sloppier than that? A bloody nose here, a stray wedgie there, someone trips on a cape, loud eruptions of the word ow, petulant insults, smack talk, crude gestures, and stray honks from the sidelines. Would it rock anyone's world to discover the stop-motion feature did not treat this battle royale with the utmost fidelity? No one who witnessed the spectacle online would react to these discrepancies with much surprise, but you are not such a witness. You are still John Egbert, and you had no idea what sort of raucous teen pandemonium to expect when you zapped into the lair of your nemesis to throw down, which is why you were completely blindsided when, upon feeling overwhelmed by the melee, Celeborn sprung his gambit on you and your 3 best friends to even the odds. He opened his little red chest, and out came his white, house-shaped juju, levitating there, threatening to behave as the weapon many treasure hunters throughout history have described it to be. Upon a second look, it's not quite white, though. It's colorless null, a house-shaped hole in your confining reality, a hole that insists on being filled. You try to resist its overwhelming pull, but to no avail. The force is too strong. Not like the sucking from the vacuum of space or the tugging from a gravitational singularity. It was more overpowering than any force in nature, almost metatextual, not negating your powers, your strength to resist, so much as it seemed to overwrite them. The juju sucked you, Rose, Dave, and Jade into its void at the speed of eternity, squashed down to half a second. You landed in the abstract prison of it. It contains face first, alone, and with a force that made you flip over a few times and skid along by the flat of your chin. You grope for your glasses instinctively, finding them in two cracked halves. You cradle their remains as you look up. The blurry, distorted face of your laughing nemesis was the last thing you saw before the chest door slammed shut and plunged you into textual obsolescence. And here you are now stuck. You will not emerge from this holding cell from an outside perspective for quadrillions of years. It is not long at all until you begin to wish you had brought something to read. So now the kids are homestuck. Wah wah. And here's a long humdinger of a chapter with Jane Crocker. Woo, that'll be an interesting way to start off next Friday night. Actually, let me look at my calendar. Yeah, that'd be the 26th. I will have to see whether or not keeping Saturday, Sunday. Jane, there's a lot to talk about with the few Jane chapters. And, all of the scenes that involve Jane or talk about Jane. Lots and lots of things to talk about. But it is 2 minutes to 1, finished with perfect timing. I might, this was Saturday, Sunday just because of the epilogues coming out on Saturday. But I think I'll try this one more week because Friday continues to be the only day that works for the most people in my D&D group. And I know before there were, it wasn't unheard of for me to cancel stream in order to go to D&D. But, through the school year, Friday, Saturday worked a lot better. The other thing is that not everybody is done with school. Right? So I don't want to just toss those people completely to the curb on this one. I might go back to, before I had the stringent schedule, I was kind of moving things to Sunday if I needed to. So I'm going to say Friday, Saturday next week for now, but if a D&D game is announced, I might switch to Saturday, Sunday again, just so that we can keep a steady stream of these going. And I guess now that I'm uploading them, it's not as big of a deal. If people worry about missing things. Musing. Yes. I think I'll do that. Yeah. So Friday, Saturday, I will announce in the Discord server, and possibly on Twitter as well, about if I do have a D&D, what's it called? Session. It's 1 a.m. and my brain is starting to turn off a little bit, so I don't know how far I'm going to get in Candy before I go to bed, but I'm definitely going to read at least the first few chapters after getting off stream. So, Candy waits for me, and it's time to say goodnight. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Wonderful conversations as usual. Oh yes, and hopefully next weekend we will have a few more friends joining in chat. I know this weekend, the people who started on Candy weren't finished reading Meat yet, so they didn't want the spoilers and all that kind of stuff. Full respect to that. But you know what? It just makes me all the more excited for next weekend when everybody will be on the same page and we can really get into the nitty-gritty, drawing the comparisons between both of the stories and not just the isolated analysis. So, I hope you have a wonderful evening, whatever you may be getting up to. Rose of Winter. Rose of Winter stream this week is going to be on Wednesday. Just so that there's at least, just not Monday, because I want at least one day between weekend streams and bonus stream just to rest my voice. And also Tuesday is going to be a long day for me with a bunch of medical bullshit. So Wednesday evening. Wow, that was a voice crack. Yeah, it's time for me to stop. Wednesday evening, Rose of Winter. Which prints are we going to do next? Who knows? We will pick on the evening of. So come hang out and have a good time. Yeah, Rose of Winter Wednesday. Back to meet on Friday. And, yeah. See you around. It's a good night from my end. And the lyrist will play us out.